Whether you want to revisit some Halloween classics from your childhood and share them with your own children, or you merely want to marvel at the absurdity of some films that were aimed at kids, there are a surprisingly large number of movies that Disney has to offer. Hello, I'm Chris Killian, and these are the screams you can stream on Disney+. Up first is a little classic called Hocus Pocus. In the decades since its debut, Hocus Pocus has grown massively popular among audiences who caught the film on repeated airings on the Disney Channel, so much so that a sequel nearly 30 years later is in the works.
Perfect.
Another classic on Disney Plus is The Nightmare Before Christmas. An excellent soundtrack. Many fans debate over whether The Nightmare Before Christmas makes for a better Halloween movie or a better Christmas movie. But why argue when you can have both and just watch it twice this year?
What is this?
Next on our list is The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad, which is essentially two short animated films put together. The first film featuring Mr. Toad might not be especially spooky, but the second half featuring Disney's take on the legend of Sleepy Hollow is perfect horror fodder for little kids. Our next choice is Halloween Town. First-time viewers will likely realize why this film was relegated to being a Disney Channel original movie instead of a theatrical release. The production quality, script, and performances all feel dated, but younger audiences will still likely get a kick out of it. The Haunted Mansion might not be the best movie based off a theme park ride, that's reserved for Pirates of the Caribbean. While it's true the film's connection to the original ride is only somewhat tenuous, it still serves as a haunted house film that can introduce younger audiences to supernatural stories. Next is FRANKENWEENIE, an adaptation based on one of Tim Burton's earliest filmmaking projects. The animated film is tame enough for young audiences to check out, though the themes of death and saying goodbye to pets or loved ones are mature enough to help younger viewers start to process those heavy themes.
Your dog is alive!
While many audiences would argue that Return to Oz should never have even been made, the film's use of puppets and its macabre creature designs are incredibly intense for younger viewers, rivaling any of the villainy evoked by the Wicked Witch of the West, making it a great Halloween flick for the youngsters. Up next is Fantasia, specifically the sequence in the film called Bald Mountain. Despite the sequence lasting only a few minutes, Bald Mountain is one of the most intense pieces of animation the studio's ever released, easily making Fantasia worth checking out ahead of Halloween. Next is Mr. Boogedy. Far from being the high point of Disney's live-action films, what gives Mr. Boogedy distinction is that it's one of the only outputs from the studio that intentionally created an original ghoul as its antagonist. The last movie on Disney Plus isn't actually a movie at all, but you owe it to yourself to go through and watch every Treehouse of Horror episode ever, and by now there's like 30 of them. The Simpsons annual horror parody is so much fun and has been around for so long that it almost doesn't feel like Halloween if you don't go watch one.
This is for Snowball 1 and JFK! Ow!
If you need even more suggestions, find me on Twitter at Chris Killian or hit up our resident horror expert Patrick Cavanaugh at The Wolfman, and we'll be happy to help you out. For the entire month of October, be on the lookout for our other videos as we suggest the best horror movies on all the major streaming services.